walking through the valley of pain. It's not that I became numb. No, I just feel there is an additional layer that I can observe about myself. It is painful, but it's okay for right now. Working yourself up to the level of where it feels uncomfortable, getting some consistency into the practice until the point where that uncomfortable feeling just started disappearing. Why? Because somehow you broke that initial comfort zone. So, but then it doesn't end. No, next level. Elsewise, it wouldn't be called growth. Giving your mind something where you need to have willpower to maintain it. Willpower and development of energy go hand in hand with each other. The will to live, the will to keep going, the will. Strong will, iron will, energy is also very high. You have to have will. You need to create something about yourself where you are pushing yourself.
So how important is that for everybody's life to do hard things, do you think? Because it's very easy not to do hard things in the comfort world we live in.
One thing is for sure, this lifetime is not easy. Living this lifetime is not easy. The more wishes you have, the more difficult it becomes. The more ambitious you are, the more you will have to face. So bottom line is, I do think that in the moment where you just on a regular basis put yourself consciously and willingly in different situations and circumstances that actually represent a little bit the structures of life. There are moments in this lifetime where you are going to be super tense. And then it's good to know already how does it feel and what is it that you can do? Well, to learn and release the tension. That's why releasing tension is also a big part of the exercises. The one thing is learning to release tension. The other thing is like when you are too sloppy, when you're too slacky, how to increase your tension, how to increase the energy level again for you to get back into structure again. So it's always this balance. And ultimately, how does it help people to know the hard stuff? Well, because I do think that it is symbolizing this way of life. It is symbolizing the patterns of what you're going to go through in this lifetime.
And so you're almost training to do hard things because hard things are an inevitability of the life we live.
Shaolin Kung Fu literally means walking through the valley of pain. When you are doing stretching, it's going to be painful. When you are doing strength training, it's going to be painful. When you do conditioning training, it's going to be painful. So the whole path on this martial art journey, it is just filled with working yourself up to the level of where it feels uncomfortable, getting some consistency into the practice until the point where that uncomfortable feeling just started disappearing. Why? Because somehow you broke that initial comfort zone. So, but then it doesn't end. No, next level. Until you're building up, first of all, whatever we're doing, it's not that I do not feel pain. I also feel pain. Maybe I feel it later, but the essential part is that my connection, my relation between the pain of the body towards what would it affect in the way of how I take my decisions, that is a different one. I feel the pain, but at the moment I feel the pain, but I see no necessity to still change something about my way right now. Why? Because I can take the pain. Whereas when you are not used to this pain, you feel it and then it tells you, let's say, it's painful. The mind says, okay, it's not good. And so you directly change something. And this is just the difference. So it's not that I became numb. No, I just feel there is an additional layer that I can observe about myself. It is painful, but it's okay for right now.
And that's a habit you've learned, I guess, over time. That's a process you've learned, which is you still have the same stimulus, the same feeling, but you've learned to tell yourself a different story about that feeling, or you believe something differently about that feeling. Many people would feel the pain of, I don't know, starting a new career journey, starting a business, whatever might be painful. and they would tell themselves the story that that means they are not good enough, or they shouldn't do it, or that it's a threat, and they might stop. Whereas because you've cultivated this new relationship with pain, you're able to do these things and tell yourself a better story.
I spent my lifetime, for some part, to really wanting to build up my body and build up the skills related to the field of martial arts. So I want to build this up. Other people want to build up their business. I do think there is something similar in the way of building up. When I build up my body, how do I really build up? How do I make my body grow? It only works if I find a continuous way of exposing my body to situations outside of the comfort zone of what I know. Elsewise, it wouldn't be called growth.